Okay, so ground fighting.
Oh, is this on?
Yes, it's recording right now.
Okay.
The primary way that we practice for the ground fighting in the position on the ground is with our feet in front of us and our head back. Normally, when we first start practicing, we'll be slightly on one side, one foot will be slightly in front of the other foot. The up side, or the front leg side, is considered our front side, and the down side or ground side and our slightly back foot is considered our back, so front and back in this case. Being up on the elbow or the hand or the shoulder, we will transition from all these different positions based on the kicks we're going to do. You can do this being on your knees or in other positions, but this is the most common one that we use. All right, actually, why don't we get over here and then So we have about 200 kicks on the ground, and they're broken down. 50% are front leg kicks and 50% are rear leg kicks. So, actually, hold for front kick. If I were to do a front kick or a ground front kick with the front foot, I would simply just lift this leg up and kick the target. So if that was a chin or an arm or something like that, I would just kick straight up from here. The rear leg requires a change in hip position. So if I'm on the ground and I wanted to kick with my rear leg, I would actually transition from one hip to the other hip as I'm kicking. And if I stay over on the other hip, then this foot will become my front foot and the other foot will become my back foot. Or I can actually do that and then can transfer back to the same side. Normally, most of the time we'll use our front leg. There are applications for the rear leg, which you're going to see in the more advanced kicks. But those are the two, the 50%. So 100 of the kicks are done with the rear leg, 100 kicks are done with the front leg. What I'll do now is I'll go through all the basic kicks that don't have special uses, and then I'll demonstrate those primarily with the front leg. And then we'll start getting into the specialty kicks, which aren't is broken down as some of the other kicks as we go. So, all right. First one is simply front kick, which I just did. So in front kick, that would be hitting a target that is parallel to the ground. In addition to kicking straight up, I'm going to push my knee forward when I do it, which will cause the target or the attack to have a force vector that's going up on an angle as opposed to straight up this way. So it's going to come out when the kick is done. So that's front. Next would be crescent kick. Crescent kicks are coming really handy when we do the more advanced things. We're going to be hitting with the ball side of the foot slightly on the underside of the foot. We don't hit with the heel or this side of the foot. We actually hit slightly with our foot turned in, hitting right on the side here. Again, front leg, we come straight across this way. Once our leg is crossed, we have a whole bunch of techniques from here, which I'm not going to get into yet. But this position is okay. A lot of times people look at this and say, well, now you're in a horrible position. Well, a couple things. We can come back this way. At this point, I can actually use this as a pivot to come in for my next strike, which we'll do in a bit. All right, so that's crescent kick. Next would be axe kick with the front leg. Now, axe kick, we don't use it so much. For axe kick, we tend to use it a lot more in some of the more specialty kicks with rolling, but you can do axe kick on the ground. It does come in quite handy for some things. And what we're going to do with axe kick is we're going to lift our leg up, and again, just like front kick, we're going to try to go in an inward motion when we're doing it, not just simply straight up and straight down. So the kick will come up and go down as we're doing it. And again, this can be used for a plant for something we're going to do later on. Okay. Next we have our roundhouse kicks. We have a whole slew of roundhouse kicks. Now the roundhouse kicks that we do, actually front kick is considered part of these. We have every 45 degrees for most of the 360 degrees. So just leave the target there. Front kick, for example, would be going straight up. So then we have a rising roundhouse kick, sometimes called punching roundhouse kick. which comes up at a 45-degree angle this way. So if my foot were slightly off center and I was kicking, that would be a punting roundhouse kick. Roundhouse kick goes parallel to the ground. So again, if my body's turned over a little bit further, then we would do roundhouse kick, which is 45 degrees up from punting round. Then downward roundhouse kick comes down 45 degrees. Downward roundhouse kick comes in with combinations a lot. When you find your body, maybe you're pivoting or something, you find your body turned way over so that it likens itself to doing this kick. The downward roundhouse kick comes down this way, 45 degree, and 45 degrees up from that, which is straight down, is dropping roundhouse kick, which is just like an axe kick, it hits straight down. And again, that would be if maybe I'm pivoting and going to deal with something over here, and it's coming straight down this way. And also, we can come in and then do some other jump kicks once we've done that. So those are the, one more roundhouse kick. The other one would be reverse roundhouse, or reverse rising roundhouse, or reverse punching roundhouse. And that is one of the kicks that can be done once our legs are crossed. If I maintain my hip position this way, I would have to do something with the back of my foot, but if I decide to transition from this hip to my other hip, in the transition process, this leg can come up and do a reverse roundhouse or reverse punching roundhouse kick as I'm transitioning. Okay, next, the hook kick. The hook kick, again, would be if I came over here and my legs were crossed, I can hook back this way. I can do a hook kick if I'm sparring with an opponent and they get over here and it's behind my leg. I can use the hook kick to kick through. Anytime my opponent gets on the back side of my body. Now, we consider backside, if we draw a straight line from the solar plexus through the 2 feet, so wherever my 2 feet are, basically through the center point of the 2 feet, anything that's on this side is considered the back side, anything that's on this side is considered the front side. A good portion of our kicks, more so I think than the other way, deal with the front side person or straight in front. But hook kick is one that would deal with the backside person. So if the person ends up being over here, then we can kick through and kick the target. That's hook kick. Next, side kick. So side kick is just like you would do standing. It's done sideways and it's attacking a target that's straight in front. If I'm on my side, we do side kick, which comes straight this way. If I'm on completely rolled over, maybe I fell down this way or I'm in a transition, we would do a front pushing kick, which is like this. And we do have a reverse side kick where the foot is upside down, and that's done with our rear leg usually, and we can kick out with that also, this way with the reverse side kick. We didn't talk about all the axe kicks, so let's go back to axe kick. We actually have 3 versions, standard versions of axe kick. The one that I already did comes up on the inside of the foot and then comes down. We have a reverse axe kick, which comes up, our leg comes up on the other side of the target, so the target passes by, or the opponent passes by the outside of our foot. This comes like this. And then we have front axe kick, which comes straight up. So this can be used as a guard position. Now, you obviously don't want to leave your groin open. So normally when you do the front axe kick on the ground, you'll bring both legs up, and this leg actually guards as this leg's coming down. So instead of just doing this, we bring this leg up at the same time we're doing the axe kick. And again, this is a more advanced, we usually do this in combinations where this foot is going to be up, and I'll demonstrate that in a second. The other one that we haven't covered is reverse crescent kick. We did crescent kick. Reverse crescent kick is like hook kick, is one where the target or the opponent's on our backside, and we hit with the little toe side of the foot straight across. Again, this can be used as a transition kick to the other side.
Again, how did you do that?
Huh?
Again?
Reverse crescent?
Oh. Oh.
Okay, let's see, what kicks did I miss? Okay, I think those are the core basic kicks we have. Now, what we usually do is train the students on those kicks standing first, because it's a little easier. And then we start practicing on the ground with targets, just like I did. Have them do it a whole bunch of times, not teaching them the transition from one side to the next, not teaching really even about this playing with front and back side. We don't really talk about that initially. Mostly we just practice these basic kicks. After they learn the basic kicks, then we can start teaching them how to use these in an application. One of the first steps we do is we teach them how to do the pressing and using the kicks with the press. So a press is if I'm fighting Mr. Dickinson here and his knees, put your feet together, that's it, and I need to attack him. The press is using the rear leg to press down the knees to create an opening. That can be done with the side of the foot, can be done with, it doesn't really matter. So we create that as an opening, and we're actually going to hold the legs down. And notice I've trapped both feet here when I do this. If the person's on the ground and both knees are here, you push on one, you usually get both of them. And then we practice kicking with the other foot based on our position with this press. So the way we practice that, the way we practice that is we have someone hold a target, and we do different heights for the knees here. We start off with low, and we'll have them do just say like roundhouse kick. We'll have them sit here, we'll have them plant the foot, and then kick, and then go back. Plant, kick, and back. We'll have them do that with all the different kicks. So for roundhouse kick, if you look at this plant foot, it's actually on its side. For a crescent kick, the foot would pretty much be pressing down straight because my body, in essence, is perfectly facing them. Again, we have the groin opening situation here, but kicks like crescent kick, where the groin is going to be in an open position, are transition kicks. So I might be over on this position holding down and then transitioning over here to this position. So we just have them practice all the kicks this way, ignoring the groin situation for now, and simply having them start either up on their arms, down, all three different heights. So we call this up, middle, and down, or high, middle, low position. Practicing all these three positions by pressing. Once they get that down, we stack the targets higher. This would represent someone with bigger legs, so the foot's up higher, or if we're pressing another part of the body, like the actual body itself. A lot of times, the only way we can get to the head is if we climb over the body. So we practice putting our foot up on something that's higher, again, at the three different positions. The low, and then the middle, and then up high. So we practice pressing with our foot and going through, again, all the basic kicks that I just did. After we've covered the basic kicks and start talking about doing the pressing, at that point we usually start introducing some of the specialty kicks. Now, by specialty kicks I mean adding certain things to the kicks to change them. And the specialty kicks, you can't use all the basic kicks to make a specialty kick. For example, the basic kicks can be done 4 different ways. The actual kick itself, a jumping version, a spinning version, and a jump spinning version. So you can't do that with the specialty kicks. You can't take every single kick and do a specialty version of it. Actually, let me go back to these 4 different versions. So if I go to roundhouse kick again, these can be done at all the different heights. Some of them can't, but most of them can. This would be just plain roundhouse kick, like this. Then we can do jumping. Now jumping, we usually do for a couple reasons. One, maybe we have to get over something to get to the head. Maybe the person's standing up that we're fighting, or is transitioning up as we're fighting them. Jumping, we simply push with our feet. Again, it's easier to do when you're up on your arm, but it can be done down in all these positions. We push with our feet up in the air to throw our body up, and then as we do that, you can stand up. As we do that, we kick. We can do all of our kicks with this. So all the basic kicks I did, we have the same thing jumping. Side, round, axe, reverse axe, downward round. All these can be done in a jumping version. And then, again, once we're in this, get back down to the ground, we get back into our like ready position. The other version would be the spin version. Now, the spin version's unlike kicks in the air, where we just do the spin for maybe a fake or to add more power to it. Most of the ones that we do on the ground, we do spinning when we're doing presses. So, for example, if I come in here and I press the person's leg down, then at this point I might use that as a pivot in order to turn my body all the way over to do a spin kick. So in that case, that would be front leg spin hook kick. So I'm taking my rear leg, I'm pressing the legs down on the person, or maybe I press them down this way. I torque my body over, maybe I'm even blocking with these hands. As I torque the body over, I twist my hips around, pivot on this foot, and come across. So
Again.
all the basic kicks can be done spinning. Some of them aren't as practical as the other ones, but they can all be done spinning. You can do, for example, a spin front kick. So let's say I'm pressing this down here, I turn around maybe to deal with an opponent there, or I go to side kick and the person is blocking, then I switch to the other foot, or even if I block and I come in and kick this way, or block and switch, because we spun first, it's still considered a spin kick. The next version would be jump spinning, and that's just the same idea. So we come in, we might press. As we're coming around, we simply jump up. Maybe the person, after we press, is transitioning in. The jump spin kicks will make more sense when we start dealing with how to attack an opponent that's standing, but we'll get into that later. Okay, the specialty kicks. We have a whole set of specialty kicks. The first set are rolling kicks. Now, rolling kicks, we have primarily 3 different rolling kicks that we do. Actually, 4 different rolling kicks that we use on a regular basis. What I'm going to do is I'll get down here. We'll roll on an angle. Okay, so the students start practicing by simply getting on their knees and getting ready to roll. Now, obviously this isn't all that practical because we're not going to be up like this, but this is how we start practicing it. And then what we do is we roll forward, and then we let our leg that is initially our front leg, which still is once we hit the target, come down and hit the target. Now, if I roll over my right shoulder and I kick with my right leg, this is a rolling axe kick because the leg travels from over here down to the target, which is the inside of my foot, so that would be a rolling axe kick. And then we'll practice, say, rolling reverse axe kick, right shoulder again, this time kicking with my left leg. So if you watch, this foot's actually traveling from here down to the target. So we just have them practice the roll like this over and over again until they get fairly proficient at doing the rolling. Then we start having them roll from different positions as they're doing it, for free sparring sake, different types of positions that they can roll from. So those are the 2 axe kicks that we teach. Next would be rolling downward roundhouse kick, which is done from a back roll. And so we start from here. Initially, we'll teach the students initially this way. Roll back over. If you're going to kick with your right leg, you'd roll over your left shoulder. And as we're going over, this would come straight down in the target as we're kicking. So that's a rolling downward roundhouse kick. The other real common one that we do is called rolling side kick. And that's basically just a front roll done with a side kick. So we roll forward and then kick. Those are the 4 rolling kicks that we do. Let me really backstep for a second. Can you stand up here without the target? One of the things that's very important being able to do groundwork is the ability to be rounded. A lot of students, when they first start, you hear a lot of thudding on the mat, and that's because their backs are straight and not rounded. And so what happens is that they fall backwards, there's a thud when they hit the mat. So we want to train them to have rounded, basically rounded bodies. And the way we do that first is we just have them roll back and forth, keeping their back nice and round. And when you do that, there shouldn't be any sort of sound difference between one part of the back and the other. If there is, like there was in that case, the back isn't evenly rounded. After they get to that point, then we start training them to be able to roll to the side and back up, and the other side, and just be round. Once they can fairly well roll like that, then we teach them something that's called the Weeble Wobble drill, named after those little game pieces that were out a long time ago called the Weebles. And we have one person stand up, another person will weeble wobble around the person that's standing. And we do this by just maintaining a nice round position. It's very important that the students be able to do this and roll around, to be able to do this so that they can effectively move on the ground. If they can't effectively move on the ground, then their ground sparring isn't going to be much good. And then we can have them do it with their hands out, we can have them do it with their hands in, we can have them do it with their eyes closed, we can have them do it moving their feet when they do it. Anything that we can think of to get them to be off balance when they're doing this. Also, the whole sense of not getting dizzy and practicing this and centering our minds down by our Dan's hands so we don't get dizzy when we're doing it. Okay, all right, can you stop for a second? Okay, good. The next set of special kicks we're going to talk about, so that was rolling. Now, the rolling side kick can actually be done as a rolling jump side kick. Actually, let me demonstrate that. What you do for the rolling jump side kick is that after you roll, you actually press your feet on the ground and put this hand down and push up to jump. We do this primarily for extra power, more so than anything else. But when we actually start doing this in actual combat, you'll get a little bit more of a feel why we do that. Okay, the next set of specialty kicks are called rocking kicks. And we actually use this rocking technique that we just did for the kick. These rocking kicks are primarily used as if we find ourselves upright in sparring and a kick is coming at us. We primarily use this to get out of the way or maybe even block the kick with our legs. We do a lot of blocking with the side of our legs. We're actually braced with our arms on the side of the legs. So if a kick's coming in here, as I rock back, it's coming at my head. As I rock back, I cover, it's coming at the side here, but I cover the groin up and I actually press with my arms if it's coming in here, or I can press with one and then keep this hand up as a guard to block. And then we simply, after we rock back, as we're coming forward, we do kicks. And these are our rocking kicks. And they're primarily just the axe kicks. So, let's see, stand up. For example, if I'm dealing with an opponent that's standing, move forward, and don't kick. But let's say I'm in nice and close. I fall down or something, he's right up on top of me, and he comes through a kick or something, and I rock back. The kick comes over my head. If I rock back small, or if I rock back big, maybe to catch his leg, which you can do to do joint locks, and then I would simply, after I rock back, I would simply strike on the way back down. Now, there's a couple ways of doing this. Again, there's the different positions. So I can do this from a low position where I simply maintain my back on the ground. I can do it where I get up on my elbows like this, or I can even do it where I come down and get up on my hand this way to help brace. Maybe the person's moved back or I have to get an extra little push out of it. This one's very rarely used, mostly here or here. So after I rock back, I can actually strike. You can, if you're doing it on the low range, you can actually thrust your hips forward and off the ground as you're doing it, and use your heel really on the axe kick to strike in on the target. You can do reverse axe kick, front axe kick, all the axe kicks you can pretty much do on that. Now if he's down lower on the ground, again, this could be if for some reason if I get up if I start sitting up or I'm in a high position and find a kick coming in, I can rock back and either block or not block, and then come back in and strike. So to show you on him, if he's on the ground and he goes to throw a roundhouse, I'm sitting up for some reason. Maybe I got up to defend myself with my hands, but I'm in an upward position. He throws this roundhouse kick, which is going to come way over here. I rock back, and then I can come up and attack either the thigh or the floating ribs, the side of the hip, or even right on the arm here. Then once I'm here, then I have that press position. So I can either climb up with this foot, or I can use this as a pivot and to lock down the legs and continue to kick with. So that's why we use the rocking techniques. A very specialty kick that's not used very much, but still exists. Next. What's I going to do next? Oh, double leg kicks. Double leg kicks are a very common thing, especially against someone that's standing, but we're going to do it on the ground here. Double kicks would be kicking, or scissor kicks I should say, kicking 1 foot forward, 1 foot back, either any direction, so opposing kicks. And after I demonstrate on the target, I'll show you what it's used for. Again, our legs are going to be separate for this. So remember after I did that roundhouse kick that one time, my one leg was way in front and my other leg was back. At this point, we can do a scissor kick, where the back leg and the front leg are going to kick simultaneously at the same target, but they're not going to hit the same spot. One leg has to hit high, one leg has to hit low when we're doing it. If my legs are apart this way, I can do the same thing. So one's high, one's low. Now, the other one would be one going forward, one coming backwards. And we do that if I get in this position where my one leg's back, my other leg's in front. Again, I'm pushing and pulling, but not at the same place when I'm doing it. Same thing this way. Okay, stand up. So, again, this is a common thing to use against someone who's standing. Put your right foot in front. If someone's on the ground, let's say I was ground sparring with them and they happen to stand up, I would do a scissor kick. Now, granted, my groin right now is exposed, but this is not, we don't stay like this. Maybe I just did a roundhouse kick, my foot came over, and then I'll come right back immediately. So one foot's going to hit low, one foot would hit right at the knee and would buckle them over. At this point, I can climb up them with my feet to do the kick, depending on what position I'm in. The other one, the push-pull, same thing goes. I can do that on the ground. If I want to get the person down towards me onto an elbow or something, then I would do it this way, the kick, or if I want to just break the knee, pop like that, this. So there's scissor kicks. One leg kicks one direction, one leg kicks the other direction. This can be done higher up on the thigh, so if my one leg's kicking low, this leg can kick up high if I want to weaken this thigh muscle out. It can be done, actually, you know what? Let me do this over here. These can be done jumping. So these can be done jumping also. We just simply push our feet up and kick this way. Usually we wouldn't kick that high. This foot, I'm trying not to hit him, but this foot would usually kick right in the rear end or slightly below the rear end. The other foot would, you can put those down, would kick in the stomach or the groin, so you'd be scissoring that way. So those are scissor kicks. This one with the push-pull can be done in the groin itself. So that would be one of the rare exceptions where we'd push, hit, and pull in the same spot. My one foot would come up between the groin, and I would switch positions then. Okay, jump kicks. High-range jump kicks, or kicking high, we use for attacking something other than the legs of the person who's free sparring. Now obviously the legs are an easy target, but occasionally we might want to kick up high, and this works as a great way of transitioning into the up position. The way we practice this to get the students good at it, because initially the students aren't going to be able to go up on one hand and throw their legs up in the air, is we have them hold on to one foot and lift themselves off the ground so only their foot and their hand is on the floor, and then just practice hopping, landing on that foot. Then eventually we have them do the same thing, but trying to touch something. They don't have to kick it, they just have to touch it. Then once they get good at that, that's when we start letting them practice kicking. So we have them throw their feet up in the air to kick. Now,
Again.
do it again.
What is that?
That's a jumping roundhouse kick.
Okay.
So I can use this as a transition up to my feet, or let's say the person's bent down or something, is just getting up, and I really want to chase them backwards. I can use that to attack high. We practice kicking really high so that anything below that's easy. If I can kick to his head height when he's standing, I can definitely do the same thing to his thigh or to his stomach, or if he's turned to his groin, or even to his knee, through to his knee. The force of gravity in itself can be used to increase the impact to the target. So we use that sometimes when we're doing our jump kicks. Okay, so that's what we'd be doing for high kicks. All right, pause.
So now?
No, it's on now.
Okay.
Okay. Why don't you stand over here? That way you might be able to see better. And
How come it's far?
You can zoom in again with the button on the top.
Is it closer now?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Put your left foot in front. Come closer. Okay. One of the things that we do, we just dealt with high jump kicks. One of the other things we do is climbing. And just like with the pressing on the ground, we use our feet to climb up someone so that we can get to them. And there's a bunch of different ways we can do this, but it depends on the range. If we're at, now for us, the range is measured from our head to the person's body, regardless if they're standing or on the ground. So if my head is back here, this would be long range. If my head is up here, this would be short range. So in general, that's how we measure range. With talking about these, I'm actually talking about the center of my body, not about the range that we deal with this way. So for climbing, if the center of my body is in what we generally call like a medium range thing, I'm not going to climb his body the same way I would as if I was in close range. So I guess take the target and hold it on your side.
On my left?
Yeah, on your left. So if I were at this medium range and I was to climb, what you do is you're going to plant your foot, and it doesn't have to be a big bump like this. If it's a big bump, that's all the better. You plant on that to actually climb up the person.
Again.
If we move this, same thing again. Medium range. Really, the highest up you can go is up to their hip to climb. Now I'm just kicking the target.
Okay, hold on. Oh, okay, hold on. Again. Oh, wait. I want to get a better view. Okay, okay. Lower first. Lower.
Lower first.
Okay. Okay, great. Yeah, great view.
Okay, is this slow enough?
Yeah, great.
Now,
Yeah.
so if I were up here, I would go, obviously I could tack all the way up to the head. Now, if I'm in closer range, then my ability to climb up is much better.
Again, do that long run, the high one.
The low, okay. Low.
Good.
High. Low still. High.
Good.
Try not to bruise your leg when I do this.
That's okay.
Now, here we use this bump. You straighten your legs out more. So, I mean, you can even stand. That's it. You can still do the same thing without the bump. And what you do is you just plant your foot anywhere you want on. And you push, and the pressure going this way will actually hold you off the ground. So you can do the same. And this traps this leg when I do it. So you can't.
Can you do it behind the knee? Hooking behind the knee.
Yeah.
Hooking behind the knee.
That's like one of the scissor. That's one of the scissor techniques.
With the left foot. Yes. Yes. Great.
Okay, so did I hit you?
I think so.
All right. Now, close
That
range.
looks like a silat. When you do the swastika, that's a silat basic position. Swastika. Do the Z. Do the Z. Letter Z with your foot. There. That's a silat position. That's a basic silat position. Yeah.
Here, get rid of this. I won't hit you. The close range, we can climb up even higher just because of the nature of how close we are. And what we do with that is we take this initial foot and we plant it a lot higher up on the person. Put this leg in front so I don't hit you too hard. So in this case, I would push up and put this foot up higher, and I can even put it up. I can even put it up super high, but I'll do it right here first. So we come up, and we can. I'm trying not to kick them too hard. Use that to climb with. We can even do that the same.
Do you have a pad? Oh.
And use that to, without hitting.
Do you have a pad? A hand pad?
You hit them with the pad? Right.
No. Oh yeah, the big one. Okay.
Actually, turn it like this.
No, high first. The one high.
And that's it. Turn this a little bit.
And so what you just did?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. That's good.
Well, we can climb up higher. Here, closer. We do the same thing climbing up higher.
Oh, it's a double buck kick. Buck kick.
Double downward roundhouse kick. Or if I bring that foot up when I'm doing it without.
What's that?
I'm trying to not hit them.
What's that?
That's the climbing one with just a single.
No, I mean, what kick is that?
Here, I'll do it again.
Downward roundhouse. Downward round.
It's very difficult to do without kicking hard.
No, what kind of kick is that?
It's downward roundhouse kick.
Okay.
Okay, get rid of that. I won't kick hard. Here, fine. So we can also climb multiple steps. So if I put, say, a foot here, and then a foot up here, and then kick and turn as I'm climbing.
Yeah.
See if I can. Okay, so we can use this to actually climb up the person to attack to a specific spot. All right. So that's pretty much the climbing idea. If it's in close, if we're in close, here, come this way. If we're in really close, we can actually use our legs kind of like scissor takedowns as part of the kicks. That's a front version. If I'm here, I can still come up.
Okay.
And we can do that a lot higher. Come closer, let me do it higher. Remember that weeble wobble thing that we did?
Good.
And we can do that from any side. So, and that drill, we can actually do this weeble wobbling thing. And whenever we feel like it, we can practice just coming in and holding on. Or, if we were close enough, we can actually do a little harder. Whoa, you moved. Or, we can practice takedowns in any of the directions as we're weebling. So
that's great.
Common drill, in here, is a student would be going around the other student, like this, and the instructor would just call out, now, and when he said now, regardless of where he was, then we would come in and do the takedown.
Okay. That was great, yeah.
Alright, let's do the climbing stuff on the ground. So get down on the ground. Now, we covered the pressing, like this, pressing out of the way. And the climbing to do, actually, let's put your other knee up. Let's do it this way. So, climbing on the ground is the same idea. We already talked about pressing, so in this case, I could press this down with this foot, and then I would use, if I'm doing the climbing method, I would use the second foot to press something else. In this case, I have both of his legs contained. So maybe the second foot would come down in his arm, and then this one would come across.
Oh, that's fantastic technique.
Or,
great technique.
this can even come all the way up.
Repeat.
on his back,
yes,
or on his shoulder, and come across.
Oh, great.
Or you can even use this, if I press this over and it's far enough behind, I can actually use this as a press here, or right in his hip, to really get a good grip. And then come around and come here.
Again.
And,
again.
But that is the climbing on the ground. If the person is kneeling, if he happens to be up on his knees or sitting in some fashion, the same thing would apply. I would hold one leg down, and I would simply put this foot up on his head. Or, instead of that, I could bring plank here, and then bring this leg up here, and then do that scissor from here, go, and then do the, sorry, and do the scissor technique that we were doing in the weeble wobble. Okay, that's pretty much climbing. Climbing is just going up the person's body with your feet, and as you're moving up, trapping or using as a lever for the other kick. That's primarily what we do in the climbing. Now you can see in the video, that the demo that I gave you, you can see the two people when they're doing that, they do quite a bit of climbing over each other. Okay, let's do, you said you wanted me to do some joint locks? Is that what you want? Nonoy?
Do first, do this technique against a guy standing up and kicking you. So do the different things that you were explaining.
Pause it for a second. Okay, so
now he's doing a front kick
what
first.
we're going to do now is deal with actual applications against someone standing while I'm on the ground. Now, we would prefer to be on the same level, either both standing or both on the ground. But we're going to might be in this situation on several occasions. Now, I just mentioned before, we base our range based on where our head is. So, if I'm here and I'm sitting up, my head to his body, this is medium range. But if my body stays exactly in the same place and I lay back, even though my body hasn't changed positions, we consider this long range. And medium range, if I turn, this is still medium range, I lay down, this is short range. So we determine the range based on our head to the person.
Okay.
Primarily because this is our computer and,
What about your nuts?
Well, we protect those. I'll go over that in a second. So what we'll do first is we'll do some defense against
kicks.
Basic kicks, long range. We'll do some against it medium range, and we'll do some against it short range.
Okay.
We really do not, we only use medium range as a transition. Most of our techniques lie short range or long range. Medium range, if we're in medium range, we would either go to short range or go to long range. This is a bad position to be in because we're...
Oh, you did not demonstrate the rolling kicks, eh?
Yeah, I'm going to get to that. Okay, so let's start with long range. Now, actually, stand over here. Again, most of the time we're going to be in this position. This leg offers a lot of protection for the groin. If he's going to kick me, he's obviously going to be kicking in here. With the front leg, he could hit my knee, obviously, or my shin. But this is going to protect this area quite well. What kicks you? You call out the kicks, and I'll do the defenses against it.
Front kick.
Okay, front kick.
Left leg or right leg?
Do your rear leg.
Rear leg.
Okay, so where would he be kicking to?
Yeah, probably your knee or your
let's just break these down into a couple categories. If he's at long range, the person that's attacking is either going to stay at that distance and attack something that he can reach, which in this case would probably be my knee or the back of my leg or my shin, or he's going to close in and try to get closer so he can attack my head.
Okay.
He would still be, if I'm in here, this would still be considered long range, even though my legs are closer. But that would be equivalent to him having moved in. So let's deal first with the attacks to the knee. So do like a roundhouse kick. Let's see if you're in the good range. Okay, so this would be the right distance for him to be attacking my knee. There's a couple things that we take into consideration. One, the most common one that I was just talking about earlier is a long-range version of the rocking technique. So in this case, if you were doing some sort of a technique at my leg here, I would just fold that under when he kicks.
What kick is that? Front kick?
That was like a roundhouse kick. Okay, so do it like you would really try to kick. And I would just do that. Come on, harder. Again. And then I would attack the back of the leg and use that as an entrance. So come on up, I didn't do it. Put your foot back there, like you just kicked. So go ahead, kick across. So I would attack the inside of the back of the thigh or the back of the knee, and then from here, as I'm using my legs, I would come in and attack the hollow of this knee here and come in that way.
Okay.
So most of the kicks that are aiming at the knee, that are going in a circular direction, you can do that. So for example, if he does a hook kick with that front leg, I don't know why he would do that. Same idea. From here, I'd fold and then attack the thigh or the knee. See, just that little tap there causes quite a bit of damage. And then I would shuffle in and attack the other leg.
Okay, now what if you roundhouse low?
That was a round. Oh, that was a. You mean low down?
Low.
Okay, hold on. We
low.
still have the front kicks here.
Okay, front kick.
So if he does a front kick, there's a couple things we do for front kick. One would be the folding like you just did. The other one is, go ahead, would be actually attacking the shin of the person that's kicking. Kick again.
Foot jamming.
And jamming the kick. We only do that usually against like front kicks that are coming in. You can do that against if the punching roundhouse kick is coming in. Yes, you can still do that, but it's actually if it's just hitting at the knee, it's easier to fold. Even if he hits, go ahead and hit my leg. Even if he hits, it's gonna fold. Hit, go ahead, come on, hit.
What's that? Side kick?
It's the same thing. It's punching roundhouse kick. Now side kick is different because side kick to a side kick, we're not going to jam the side kick. So the side kick in general, go ahead, side kick. I would usually fold out this way and not straighten my leg out, but fold it out so it misses here. So I'm pretty much going with the flow of the kicks. Okay, now
again, side kick.
Side kick. Okay, go ahead. Wait. Stand, face this way. Okay, now go ahead.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, now the same thing with him moving in. So this would still be long range, come closer, but he is now in close enough that he is close enough to come close to hitting my head. So let's see, Ron, can you do a roundhouse kick to my head? Yes. Okay, good. So this would be like a roundhouse kick to the head. There's a couple things that I would do for this without trying to hurt him too much. Let's see, which one do I want to do first? Alright, let's do this in slow motion. So if he comes in, again, he's trying to kick to my head from here. Put your foot down again. Okay, go ahead. You okay?
Yeah.
I try to do this as gentle as possible.
I just cracked that ankle. Wasn't expecting that at all.
Yeah, I won't do it again. I try not to break your knee. Alright, so that's one. Basically attacking the supporting leg as it's coming in, because as soon as this leg's hit, then that leg is useless. Now, if you were talking about someone that's really fast with this kick, and he's coming to my head here, we can do that rocking up in protection motion. We can bring up, if that kick is coming in, go ahead. If that kick's coming in, we can use this as a block by rocking backwards.
Again?
So go ahead.
Slow. Slow again.
Slow?
Slow motion again.
Okay.
Kick slow. Is that a roundhouse?
He was kicking roundhouse at my head. So as soon as I saw that, I'm doing a front kick up into his leg. Then I'm coming down, kicking the hollow of his leg. Then I'm using this as a step up, and I'm attacking this way. So even if he's getting up at that point, the spin will take him out. Okay. Now, what if he attacks the other direction? So, put your other foot in front, or behind. Again, we can attack this leg. If both of my legs are out here, this is obviously a very vulnerable spot, so I would probably bring this leg up. But again, if that leg is coming in, go ahead, we can attack that. We can attack the supporting leg. Okay, go ahead, kick at my head. Go ahead. No, I won't hit your knee.
Okay, it
Good.
twisted pretty bad.
Good. We can actually strike with the knee on the knee strikes on the shin. Good. This way. Or we can do, just like I did before, when he kicks. And then attack again. So that's primarily what we're doing. One that we didn't cover would be axe kick.
If I'm doing it?
Yeah, so axe kick would be coming down at my body this way. Go ahead. Yeah, I don't care what you want to do. So he's doing this. Like that. Alright. What we would do with axe kick is, like we were talking earlier, as it's coming out kick, we would do some sort of kick on the way down. And that's kind of like the knife defense that we do in Kali, in that if I miss the initial hit, the circular motion is going to redirect it. Now the only bad thing would be is if I kick too fast, and then it would come down over the top. So that wouldn't be good. But again, normally we just attack this front leg when we're doing it. Sweep or take it out. Oh, it's time.
Or